Good morning. Good morning, everyone. GM, and welcome to another episode of FOMO HOUR. Today is Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. Last day of April in the books here, folks. And sadly, our green streak is over. A bad GDP report in the U.S. has sent broader markets lower. Recession odds are up. Crypto not immune from this drawdown. The board is red. Now, the question on our minds, was this last rally a bull trap or just a blip on the way up? We're going to break it all down on today's show. Mando will be joining us here in a few minutes, but we've got Logan on with us. Logan, GM, how you doing?
Hey, good morning, Tyler. Doing well. Not too much to report. Weather's beautiful here, as always, and feeling pretty good.
Your final week in Peru.
Yeah, just a few days left. I'm gonna miss it. It's gonna be bittersweet. A long time here, but I've enjoyed it.
And maybe you will be shocked when you return and see what prices are in the U.S. because according to this GDP report, inflation is spiking.
I'm going to be shocked. I just got a dinner actually by myself last night. My fiance was out with some of the other students, and I checked my credit card statement just randomly, and I noticed that the burger that I got, which was excellent, by the way, was $7, a burger and a drink for dinner.
That's good price. Yeah. Well, now you know that if times are tough, you can just go back to Peru and try to save some capital. Folks, what are we talking about on today's show? We're going to start with the market report. Recession fears looming. Odds of rate cuts going up, though. Perhaps a silver lining. Crypto had been chopping, now dipping. We'll see if Bitcoin 93K holds. Might do a little look back. Trump's first 100 days in the books. The first crypto president. Also some news out of Trump. Very related. True Social. Exploring a token and a digital wallet. What is that going to mean for markets? We've got a scandal brewing with movement. Some new details were leaked here this morning. More tokenization headlines. BlackRock's tokenizing a fund. The Ton Foundation is launching a $500 million tokenized debt fund. We've got the NASDAQ. They want that Doge ETF. They're pushing hard for the Doge ETF. The Soul Trenches, folks, they were on fire, but maybe they just local topped. We'll talk about that. A new token launchpad from Dingaling and a whole lot more. Before we dive in, shout out to our partner, Wallet Connect. Wallet Connect is the connectivity network shaping the future of on-chain UX. If you've connected to a Web3 app, you've seen Wallet Connect. That blue logo, it's everywhere. An icon of trust in crypto, as recognizable as Visa at the checkout. If you want to learn more, follow at Wallet Connect on X and Telegram to stay ahead of what's next. Folks, Yeet. We've also got the Yeet spin at the end of the show, so you want to stay tuned for that. Folks, we've got Mando in the house now. Mando, GM, how you doing?
GM guys, how are you guys?
Oh, just trying to survive our first red day in what feels like a week or so here. But I think we'll be able to get through it. If you're ready, without further ado, I say let's just dive right in to the market report.
Into it, yeah.
Who is the man, macro daddy of the land? Can you dig it?
Yeah, so this is definitely a day where macro kind of derailed us slightly. We'd had basically a whole week of gains in stocks, and then today we had kind of like a double whammy of bad data. Firstly, we had preliminary GDP numbers coming out of the US, which showed a contraction, negative 0.3% versus 0.3% expected. That's not a great sign for Q1. Remember, Q1, the majority of these tariffs hadn't even happened. So definitely not a good look. And then core PCE, which is the inflation rate, also came in quite a bit above expectations at 3.5%. So even before the tariffs came in, largely, we had a slowing economy and higher inflation. This is classic stagflation that people would point to. I don't really know for crypto in this sort of environment. Like crypto in a stagflation environment is not necessarily the worst possible thing, at least for Bitcoin. But it's not a great environment often for stocks. Higher inflation, lower growth is normally pretty bad. And it also points to how hamstrung the Fed can be in dealing with it. Remember, because if inflation's going up, the Fed actually can't do that much. So definitely not like a great scenario here for macro, at least. In terms of how the market reacted to it, I mean, Bitcoin's down a little bit again, down 2% on the back of that. Bitcoin dominance is about to hit 95%. I think it nearly did actually at one point this morning. Sorry, 65%. So Bitcoin holding up again, much better than everything else. We kind of saw a nuke in it, not really a nuke, but the stuff that had been running up all got bashed down straight away. So like the AI coins, the meme coins, all not having a great day, probably down around 10%, I would say on average for some of the major, or like maybe like 5 to 15% kind of range for a lot of these coins down. So yeah, not a great day for like the more risky stuff, and probably just points to the idea that we're not out of the woods from a macro perspective. But interestingly, like Bitcoin's narrative has been kind of that doesn't matter recently. Like it's more that global liquidity is going higher and US hegemony is going down, and Bitcoin's a hedge for that. I kind of think that also increases with these sort of figures. So I would be unsurprised if Bitcoin bounces here or like doesn't have as bad a day as you would maybe would expect it to, despite stocks having a weak day. I think we'll outperform again on the back of this. Stocks look like they're having not a great day today. You've got the NASDAQ looks like it's down about 2%, 2.5% right now. So yeah, that's nearly 3% actually. But interestingly, gold is going higher again. Gold had like a bit of a dip and interestingly bounced as soon as that figure comes out. So I think that's basically what I'm saying again. I think this is just another world where Bitcoin dominance goes higher and people maybe get even more scared about the macro prospect for the next year. Trump's basically come out and trying to blame everyone else. To be fair, this is Q1, so again, this is probably before a lot of his policies have kind of come in, but I wouldn't say his policies are necessarily going to make him better.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption. We've seen him come out and say this is Biden's stock market, not Trump's, which aligns with some things he said earlier, but now I've seen the screenshots as well where he said this is our stock market. So on the green days, it's his. On the red days, it's still Biden's. Not a massive surprise.
Heads I win, tails you lose. Sort of.
Art of the deal.
Know that game well.
Art of the deal.
Wiz summarized it here. GDP down, personal consumption's down, and then inflation was up. Prices up. The prices up really surprised me. I'm not gonna lie. That was my most surprising take from all this. I actually thought I had seen forecasts that Q1 GDP was going much lower than this, actually. So I thought we all just knew that was coming. So I was a bit surprised.
The Atlanta Fed
Yeah.
regularly posts wild GDP figures, which are like way off from all the other Feds. Like, because often different states have their own Federal Reserve, essentially. And they always get picked up by the mainstream media. Yes. I think they predicted like negative 2.5% or something for Q1.
Yeah, I think it was 3.7 at one point. I think I saw.
Yeah, it's like they are always wildly off. Like if you want to just engagement farm, you tweet about what the Atlanta Fed thinks. And they were really low. I think most people, obviously, there was a broader prediction that this would be like 0.3%. It would be lower, but not as low as that. This going down is just. I think it's just bad because it's Q1. Like, remember, Liberation Day was April 5th, was it?
Yeah, it
was a beautiful day. True inflation is still low, so like, yeah, that's still in effect. But
this is what surprises me.
This does surprise me too. Like, I've been genuinely surprised at this because of what I can tell, there is some real inflation going on in the US. Like, there was this headline yesterday that Trump was fighting with Amazon because Amazon Amazon were going to like say, the prices are going up because of these tariffs, and this is how much. Amazon aren't trying to like get price gouge here. Like Amazon are always trying to be the lowest cost, right? So I was surprised at that, that Truflation has stayed low, because I do think you guys are going to have some inflation here on the back of it, and maybe Truflation is obviously more of a lagging indicator. It's not a forward-looking indicator.
Yeah, I think it's the disconnect that's been what's surprising / confusing to me, is like how this can be so low at 1.6%. Now we're seeing 3.5% via other reporting mechanisms. I guess as a consumer, I don't feel like we've seen price of goods go up in Q1. In fact, I think there's a lot of things that are cheaper. Like gas is cheaper. I'm pretty confident, which is a big one. I guess maybe I don't have my finger on the pulse of rent, but I do believe like that. Yes, we will see it go up. Like we're saying, like the tariffs increasing prices. I think that's hard to argue with. I'm not going to argue against that, but we haven't really seen that hit yet. Like I get it for Q2 in looking ahead, but I was surprised to see a lagging indicator showing it that much higher. I think the other piece here, which is still like maybe counterintuitive to me, is the CME now pricing in 41% chance of 4 rate cuts by the end of 2025. And 5 cuts still at 28%. So 70% chance of 4 to 5 cuts in 2025. But on the flip side, if you're dealing with inflation in your pal, like how do you cut rates with looming inflation driven by tariffs? So like, are they just betting?
Yeah. That's quite an aggressive position. I didn't realize it was pricing in that many at this stage. It's difficult to know, right? Like, what are you going to do with your pal here? Like, if we start to go into a recession and inflation starts rising, I don't know if rate cuts would be the tool that I would use. Do you know what I mean? Because they're like the most obvious tool, but he might just like turn on QE rather than like do rate cuts. That's what I would do if I were him. Like, I'd try and like increase money supply, but not via rate cuts, basically.
Something's going to give. I mean, a lot of folks are betting on that, something giving. And I think that's a part of the bull case for Bitcoin here. Sorry about that. And Bitcoin still does feel like it's, I don't know if I would say outperforming. I think broadly outperforming today. It's down 1.7%. That's basically in line with how the stock market indexes are down. ETH down 4%, Sol down 4% here as well. Running through a few of the other headlines. I won't get to the Trump stuff here in a minute. Mando, I saw you tweet this out this morning. I'm not sure if you had a chance to dig into this.
This is wild.
The scandal from movement. So CoinDesk is leaking all the contracts tied to this. Effectively, the Movement Foundation signed this deal with Webport Labs to give them a good chunk of their tokens. And they had a clause in their contract that if Move hit a $5 billion valuation, they could sell, which Move did, and then they instantly market sold, which I believe led to the Binance investigation of them. I've not had a chance to dig into this. I'm curious if you have a take on this one, Mando.
I think this follows on from what we saw pretty recently with Mantra, right? There's clearly been some deals from some of these L1s or like VC-backed projects with, I mean, everyone's trying to like point the finger of blame at market makers, but these people get into deals with market makers who basically say, look, we can be culpable. Give us all your supply. We'll sell it for you, basically. And obviously has to hit certain levels, but we will sell it for you. And I think that's what happened. Really, what happened with Mantra. It similarly, there's some talk about happening with things like Story Protocol. Remember that went down a lot at one stage, and there's been a lot of expectation that they might be involved in something here. And then finally, it's with Move. I mean, Story I don't know, but I know I've heard other things around there. But yeah, it's just clear that some of these you do get involved in these sort of deals, and these guys at Movement, they gave up 50% of the circulating ecosystem supply for this. 50%. And then they've turned around and said, oh, we didn't know, we got duped into this. Somebody did this, but it wasn't me. And it's just hilarious.
We're all trying to find the guys who did this.
It's just hilarious. We will get to the bottom of the people. We're going to do an internal investigation. How did that Libra investigation go with Meow, by the way? Anyone checked in on those guys recently?
Jeez. Yeah.
Bullish internal investigation by Web3 companies. That's what's going on. The movement team are going to get to the bottom of what happened here. Okay.
You can rest assured they're going to get to the bottom of this.
They made $35 million. We are going to find out what happened.
I think basically the takeaway for me is if you're watching any of these altcoins and they're showing explosive price action that doesn't really jive or pass the gut test, maybe something else is going on. Yeah, I think unfortunately we've seen that play out a few times here this year. I'd be surprised if we don't see it again. Right. I think that's another unfortunate takeaway. Quick side, folks. If you are watching, the code for today is house. Rafflebot code is house for that EAT action later on in the show. Well, those are some of the headlines. I'll go quickly through a few others. Let's see. We'll get to Trump here in a second. A few tokenization headlines. Telegram, they're launching $500 million on-chain fund to tokenize their debt. Access to $2.4 billion in debt from the Telegram Foundation. That was a big one. BlackRock announced something similar. And then SoFi announcing return to crypto under a more crypto-friendly, deregulated Trump administration, which might be a good seg to Trump's first 100 days. So Logan, we were chatting a little bit about this before the show, and Mando, curious for your thoughts as well. Focused more specifically from a crypto standpoint. Curious for your thoughts on Trump's first 100 days in the books and maybe a grade rating. A and F.
Yeah. Well, if you scroll through this article, which I highly encourage everybody to do from Liz at Decrypt, it's a good summary of all the things. There's been so many headlines over the course of the last few months. It's a really good summary of like things that have actually gotten done, many of which were hoped to have been done a long time ago. And the previous administration, right, put kind of either the kibosh or, an outward attack in some instances against those things. It's the crypto broker rule, right? The first pro crypto legislation signed. You have the pardoning of Ross Ulbright. You have, my gosh, there's so much else in here, right? You have the strategic reserve. There's a lot of things that were promised or that were said or rumored whilst Trump was on the campaign trail that pro crypto people were excited about, that he actually, either made inroads towards or literally got done. And so I think if you're viewing this from a crypto lens and you remove maybe the meme coins, which are not included here, right? That's not like policy type stuff that's included here. I think the grade is pretty good. It's probably in like the B- range. It might even be higher. It's tough for me to extract the meme coin stuff. I think
that's a part of it. So I want you to include that.
Yeah, I think if you include the meme coin stuff, I think B-, C+, and I could see arguments for a little bit lower, just because that is the stuff. And when we talk about movement and all the shady stuff going on here, those are the types of things that bring on the scrutiny and warrant detractors and warrant people considering that this industry is like not so serious. Like, because many times it's not. So those are the things that I would say tremendously bring down the grade. All the world liberty financial stuff, the potential enrichment of Trump and his family via these things that he didn't need to probably do, like launch 2 meme coins. Those are the things that I totally understand would bring, and I personally would ascribe to bringing the grade down significantly. Otherwise, the pro crypto things that have gotten done have been, largely exciting, I would say, for somebody who's actively participating and working in the space.
Yeah, I made my list before I kind of went through the article of things that I could remember him getting done. So Bitcoin Reserve, top of the list, some pro crypto appointments, helping to change the SEC guard, SEC then going on to effectively drop all their lawsuits pretty much across the board. Most would say we're kind of wrongfully brought in the first place. Stablecoin legislation now already in process, increased M&A activity in the broader crypto space, return to the US, SoFi, the latest bank saying, hey, now we're going to come back and launch full crypto services, freeing Ross. And I missed a few of the others from the article, like setting up the crypto task force, having that first crypto roundtable, and a few other things. So I think objectively from a crypto lens, a pretty wildly successful first 100 days from a policy standpoint. I would give it an A. But coupled with the meme coin, coupled with World Liberty Fi, coupled with now this true social token, I'm down. I knock it to a B minus, and I could listen to an argument to take my grade lower because it really does muddy all this. It changes the political calculus, and we are at an increasing rate of if the guard changes, will the other team try to flip some of this?
Right.
Not,
That's what.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tyler. I was reading an article from The Hill, more political focused publication about this sort of same thing, right? The first 100 days under Trump and the crypto reflection as well. There's some mention in there about Democrats that, previously may have been willing to listen to bipartisan bills about crypto, feeling like if they now sort of submit to this, that they are becoming too pro-Trump in their constituents' eyes, right? And that's all that political stuff that if you are, if you're on the other side, if you're anti-Trump, for whatever reason the case is, and you see these headlines like yesterday, Truth Social may be doing a token and, Trump Media Global, whatever, maybe doing a token and Trump enriching himself in that way. Like, I get it. It doesn't need to happen. And it feels grifty and it feels bad. And those are the types of things that could set back a lot of the progress that has been made via policy and regulation thus far. And if you recall, the elections this last fall elected a lot of candidates that were pro-crypto from both sides. And you don't want to lose those as a result of something silly because Trump had to keep getting rich on the next token.
Totally agree, Mando. Curious for your thoughts from a more of a global perspective. Outside.
I think
the US.
you guys both hit the nail on the head. I think that's the feeling for everyone. At least within crypto, I think you couldn't really ask for more, but it's been tarnished, I think, by just efforts to potentially personally ingratiate himself and kind of the family. It's very, very clear that when Trump leaves office, he's actually going to be still in like a very prime position here in US crypto. He's kind of setting, this is his retirement plan, in my opinion. Like the Trump is kind of setting himself to be very much center stage in crypto post office. And so is the family. So I think, let's see where that kind of goes. I don't think it was necessarily needed, but maybe it wasn't necessarily needed, but perhaps we were all naive to think that you didn't need somebody who was going to be massively personally incentivized to push all of this stuff through Washington. So maybe we were slightly naive about that, but it does feel as though that's got in the way of stuff. Do I feel like it's going to get in the way of stuff long term? Less so. I do think there's part of this like crime season meta that's going to come in. which is perhaps not great and probably will continue for a while, I think. But I would say most of like the long-term stuff, like in 10 years, I think we can look back and be like, wow, who's really positive for crypto? It's just, it's kind of, we're going to make sure we take a slice off the top feels kind of banana republic-y for the US.
Yeah, I think that's very fair, and I'm generally aligned. I feel like we just can't get there because there's always like this chance that he's just going to do something over the top, and it's all going to come crashing down somehow. And we just have to be on our guard. But let's get into now the transition to the latest news. So more Trump tokens perhaps incoming. Logan, you wrote the article. Walk us through this one.
Yeah, this broke yesterday near the end of the day. Shareholder letter from Trump Media, Trump Global Media, which is a publicly traded company. They have Truth Social, of course, the kind of like ex-Twitter clone, right, that was set to free Americans who had been kind of deplatformed or banned from Twitter or whatever the case is. They also have a streaming platform called Truth Plus, same sort of thing, video streaming. And they announced TruthFi back in January. But all that being said, they are looking to potentially launch a token and a wallet to kind of provide a utility token for this ecosystem, the Truth ecosystem, those three products that I was just mentioning. So it says here, that quote from Devin Nunes, as part of a rewards program, we're exploring a utility token. There's no mention of crypto, right? There's no mention of blockchain, but I think you can draw the lines here given Trump's connection to them and all the other connections to blockchain from World Liberty, et cetera, from his family as well. So we don't know exactly what it might look like or if and when it may come, but we do know the other products. For example, they applied for ETFs, TruthFi, that one arm.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. We do know that those other products, per that shareholder letter, are anticipated to be out there this year. They're expecting to get them out there this year. One is a Bitcoin ETF. They're all America First themed. So there's like a mix of crypto and traditional equities that are, America First that people will likely be able to invest in. Trump Global Media said they're going to invest right alongside. And they did also in January, and I think it's reiterated in the letter yesterday, indicate that they are going to use up to $250 million of their cash reserves to buy things like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as well. That's kind of an aside.
I missed that.
So, I think it's in the article, maybe near the bottom. It may have been edited out. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, we'll have to look for that. But the broader story, another Trump token. So we had the Trump meme. We've got Melania. We've got the World Liberty Fi token, which isn't tradable yet, but it's coming. So we've got 3. This will be number 4. How many Trump ecosystem tokens do you think we have by end of his presidency? What's your over-under?
Oh my gosh, we're at 4 now. I mean, it wouldn't shock me to see 10. Like, I don't even know because what will end up happening here is they'll make a bunch of money on a Truth token, right? I'm of course speculating, but like they'll make a bunch of money on a Truth token, and then they'll decide that the token for TruthFi should be different than the token from Truth Plus because they made a bunch of money on the Truth Plus token, right? And then there'll be a token for Truth Social as well, and then all those tokens you can exchange, right, for the overall ecosystem token. I don't know. It would not shock me.
Barron's going to turn 21.
That's right.
During this presidency. So
Barron token, man, it's coming. You just know by the end of the 4 years.
You want to have capital ready for that one, and then you want to be ready to sell everything else.
Yeah.
On that note, I'm on the over 10. I'll take the over on 10 Trump tokens by 2028. I can't believe we already have 4. It's been
Market's bouncing quite nicely here, though, guys. Like,
all right. The old reversal
looking better by the minute.
Nice. Just one last thing on the Trump note, Tyler. So as I was reporting that story yesterday, basically within minutes of the first headlines sort of circulating, Trump and Melania both snapped down. I think it was 5 to 10% in the first hour or something like. I don't exactly know. It wasn't like an absurd candle, but people reacted, and as you would expect, right? Like, oh shit, here's another Trump token. Like, I totally get that. If I was holding Trump and I saw that announcement, I probably would have sold as well. Because that's exactly what happened with Melania, right? You're just like, this guy can't let can't let the thing keep going. All on the back of the Trump dinner news from last week too. So
Yeah, that was my next question: is what's the market impact of a truth token? Let's say it comes to light. Like, is it going to be another Melania event that wrecks everything? Do you think like it's going to have more?
Trump is the Ben.eth of KOLs. Once a token works, he thinks that we should get another one going. And even if it doesn't work, we'll get another one going. It's not going to.
I'm sorry, Mando. I don't know if it wrecks things quite as bad, Tyler, just because it is a little more insulated. Like, at least in my perspective, like, it's not Trump branded literally. Like, we obviously know the connection between Trump and truth, like, which is very, very strong, but it's not exactly his name. So it might be, the rest of the market might be insulated in some way. Plus, you would envision that, this is kind of the law of diminishing returns in a way. Like, the big impacts already happened. Like, Melania was the big circle, right? Now we're just kind of working our way. Now, like, truth is going to impact it, but a little bit less than the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So maybe not as much. I do think it'll send things down. It'll pull away, but maybe not as much as Melania did.
Man, I'm pulling this up. This is like a triggering image for me. And I even did well on the Trump and Melania trades, but I feel like this is such a symbolic picture of the Q1 2025 crash, from pure euphoria to pure pain in 2 weeks' time. And this picture sums it up, and it's like she's laughing at us. Man, Melania's at 39 cents. This thing got to $12 plus.
Yeah,
its first
1305, I think, was the all-time high.
I'm with you. I don't think the impact. I saw people saying like this would be like a Melania situation, this truth token. I think it's going to be a smaller impact. My view is, if they're going to roll out new Trump tokens once a quarter, once 6 months, I don't think it's going to have broader impacts. I think it could impact the Trump token. I think it could impact the Melania token. I don't think it's going to like cause like the AI tokens to all sell off 40%, or Farokh to sell off 40%.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there. And weirdly, though, as I think about this a little bit, of the tokens that exist, the truth one might make the most sense, to exist as well, which may help limit a little bit of the damage that would permeate the rest of the, his or the Trump family tokens. So
yeah, that's fair perspective. Like, I'm not worried about World Liberty's FIDES token, because like they've got a protocol, right? It wouldn't be out of pocket for them to launch a token. Like,
right.
You're making a similar argument. Okay. TruthFi has
I mean, it doesn't need it, but if it was going to have one, it's like better than Melania having one, right? At least in my opinion. So.
Quick side. You remember the coin everything? That meta?
From Jesse and from like last week?
Yes. It's and how quickly that has just evaporated. We went from coining everything and it being all over the timeline to zero talk of it. I haven't heard a mention of it. I haven't heard the phrase. I haven't seen the phrase since that Zora TGE, which makes me again question the motives behind all that. I don't know. I just had to get that out. That was top of mind for me, and it is somewhat relevant because, man, the hot thing to do in this market is to create a token launchpad. And we've got another one coming, folks. And you might want to pay attention to this one because it is coming along with an airdrop. So Ding-a-ling, folks may know him, NFT whale, just broader crypto whale, seemingly has infinite pockets, announced Boop.fun, a new token launchpad for meme coins. The vision is to align traders, creators, and holders. The kicker is they are starting with an airdrop. So no promises of an airdrop to come. They're going to kickstart with that. If I remember correctly, Ding-a-ling was tied in with LooksRare, the NFT platform.
Did you just see the I'm sorry to detract you. But on the coin market cap board, Lux is in the top 5 tokens. I meant to mention that earlier, offline. But yes, he was. I believe he was tied in some way to Lux and
is.
YOLO.fun as well.
Lux is up 12. Oh my God.
Like, why the hell would this be moving up?
Wow.
I bet it's probably speculation about Boop or something. That would not surprise me.
But part of why I brought the Lux Rare up comparison, that NFT marketplace.
Are those things still going? I actually haven't looked. Is the YOLO thing? I guess Blast kind of. It was on Blast, right?
The YOLO.
Yeah, there was a thing. That was a thing for a while, right?
It
YOLO
was. I never really used it. As far as I know, all the products on Blast are gone.
I can't find it on. I can't find it on Twitter, which
Was it
seems
YOLO
weird.
Games?
Oh, here it is. YOLO_blast. No tweets since March 18th. I don't think.
Do they have a link to the website? YOLO Blast?
YOLOgames.io.
Okay.
I don't know. It says built on Blast. I don't know if it's still going or not.
It's still going. But yeah, it's not.
Right. Okay.
The last bet was a while ago. Don't think it's still going.
Well, not a huge surprise. I mean, I think user activity on Blast has kind of gone to zero. I'm a bit surprised at the velocity of new token launchpads we are seeing. Even in like the NFT craze, we got like 5, but we didn't get like 20. But it feels like these token launchpads are starting to really come out by the handfuls. What we haven't had is a nice airdrop though. So, and I think Dingling is well connected. He's well connected in trader circles. If they have a nice little airdrop, I think they might be able to grab some users, at least on a near term basis. And I mean, looks rare. It didn't really steal market share from an NFT marketplace perspective, but it had a hell of an airdrop. So it's going to be one to at least pay attention to if you are in the trenches. And we're seeing it with the success that these rewards programs can have with what Radium has done with Launch Labs. So if you haven't seen this, they're giving out 50,000 Ray tokens per day. That's over, I think that's close to $150,000 for the people who are trading those Launch Lab tokens. And I mean, it's working. Take a look at their volumes. They crossed $100 million in cumulative volume on their platform yesterday. I mean, I think you can raise the question of is this, how long can the music keep going? And is it going to stop once the rewards are done? But
it's difficult to say, right? This feels so similar to NFTs, right? OpenSea had a full cycle really where it just dominated. There was a few people that came in but it still just dominated. And then by the second cycle, enough people kind of came in and decided, look, we're going to do another version of this. I think Radium people like a lot more than Pump Fun. You know, it has some ties like FTX back in the day, but in general, people like the token. It's got a buyback of the token based on fees. Now you can create a launch pad, which potentially people can share on the upside of. Pump Fun, obviously, range of different things that people don't like about it, but I think the live streaming stuff and the general community vibes just haven't been great for a while. So I think it's kind of right for someone to come in and try and do something. And there's just so much money still being made by Pump Fun that it kind of makes sense that it would get split out, you know?
Yeah.
It's a very common story.
Wild amounts of money. Let me see if I've got the dashboard here. Give me a second, folks. Let's check in. Blockworks has a great dashboard for this, so shout out to them. Memecoin activity, Pump Fund, token volume, revenue. Here we are. April 29th, $1.7 million in revenue. I don't know if that I'm not sure if that's even including Pump Swap. I'll have to take a look. But yeah, so they're still doing $2 million a day. I think they bottomed in March closer to $1 million a day. Now they're doing $2 million a day again. So down from peak, but I mean, still, let's take a look at the weekly view here. I mean, still well above where we were last August and September. So they're still showing real signs of strength, and I think other people clearly see that, as you mentioned, and want their own piece of the pie. What I am curious about is the trenches have been electric. If you have been in there and trading, I think you've had a good time this past week, and maybe today was the local top. I think we saw a lot of the current leading trench coins kind of sell off this morning. I am curious how much of that is perhaps driven by these daily radium rewards. Is that causing a little bit more artificial action in the market? Maybe so. I don't know. I don't think the coins that have been winning are necessarily Launch Lab tokens, though. So to go through some of these headlines, Housecoin hit 110 million this morning. This thing was trading at 10 million on April 6 days ago. A 10x
Jesus.
week. I forgot that the RFC token
be so divisive for a long time in this. Really, really divisive, right? I think mainly because it's like tied to some of the bigger KOLs in the space, and it smells like free supply and all this sort of stuff. And it's got this kind of like narrative which is normie friendly, but maybe not like super crypto friendly. You know, it doesn't feel like, oh, one of our native memes. It just kind of feels like something that boomers may talk about, you know, and that's a bit more divisive. But what's your view here on this one? Because we said yesterday this may be the coin to own if Bitcoin keeps on going, because it's a new meme, and, you know, it could go to like 250, 300. But then the higher it goes, the more hate I just see for it. It's very different to like Farokh or some of these other coins.
Which can be good. I mean, I think in general, let's put Farokh aside because it's kind of a unicorn. You don't want a consensus play. Like you want the 50-50 split because that drives attention, and it continues to give you marginal buyers and people who will capitulate in. I was early to this one. I thought we talked about it on the show. I'd have to go back through some of the transcripts. Disclosure, I got in under 10 million on this. Had a nice position. I thought that the narrative of we're going to flip the housing market was a good one. I saw the Zoomers rallying around this and pointing to the housing market's not for them. We don't want to buy boomers 10x. So it's a little bit of a rebellion play against that. And I saw some early personalities form around it, like Lexapro, and I really saw them commit to it. I think you need one or two people like that in this current market to really drive, forward. And then when I saw the boots on the ground posters on the wall in LA, I was like, okay, they've got a force behind this. And I think there's some upside. Now is where it gets interesting at 100 million. I think we're going to start to test where this market can go. I saw a take that 1/3 the market cap of Farokh could be the ceiling of this. That's a reasonable take for me. Like, I think if it got to 300 million, personally, I might clip the whole thing out. Like, is this a multi-billion-dollar meme? I think that's going to take some serious time to get there.
Yeah, I struggle with this one a little bit. You were super early, Tyler. I think you might have been 5 million, right, or something, when this first surfaced.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. I like these narrative plays. This sort of like, we're gonna flip this thing, like SPX 6900. Like, I actually get that as a play, right? Like, we're gonna flip the S&P. That makes sense to me. I'm okay with that as a token. This one felt a little more forced to me. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the reasons that I could never really get behind it. Like, one house equals one house coin. Like, come on, you know what I mean? But I do agree, though. Like, you need some people that are the champions of it. You need that. You need people that are committed to it. And it's just going to keep pounding it on the timeline, as nonsensical as it is. And so I'm good with that. It just felt a little too forced. And then I kept doing the thing where, like, we haven't seen a runner in forever, and it kept feeling like a top for me. Like, okay, I can't buy 10 million because I saw it at 5 million. Like, this is ridiculous. And then it was, I can't buy it at 20 million because I saw it at 10 million. You know, I suck at buying stuff on the way up. That's just a personal issue. That's why I'm still sidelined, and I don't think I can pull the trigger at 100 million.
Yeah, it's a little
I
trickier.
have to say I bought some, but it wasn't because of you, Tyler. It was because we did the rec radio show with Kook. You're in too many coins for me to go into the coins that you're in, whereas Kook doesn't get into that many. So when he told me that's the coin, I was like, okay, I'll buy some.
Fair.
Which is just good timing because that was on the Wednesday, and then I think Ansem started mega shilling it on the Friday, right?
That's how it works. Yeah.
And I still have it, but it's not a big position. It's just like I bought some.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bigger position now, obviously. But
I mean, part of the
It's,
narrative here, and we talked about this yesterday, is like, is this like one of the new memes from this new meme cycle, right? And can it be like one of the defining ones? So like, if it becomes that, that's the narrative that could drive it
100%.
much higher.
I think you want to own those. Like
Yeah.
there are certain ones which obviously are like multi-cycle memes. But it's very clear to me that the memes that will pump the hardest are normally memes like this, right? Like it's like some new thing, and everyone's always in profit, so they make it their personality, and you know it will be something like this. It's really just, do you think this is the time where Bitcoin's going to go to 110K? Because if Bitcoin now just ranges until June, there's a lot of hate for this thing. I don't know if it'll die in that time period, right? But like the week that Bitcoin goes to all-time high, yeah, whatever is the runner that week. I mean, what happened with Peanut, dude? It went to 2 billion because Bitcoin started rallying that week. Like, whatever the coin is that week, that's the coin you want to own. Because
Pups went to 900 million.
Yeah, but Peanut was new. Do you know what I mean? It's the new coin that week that has the narrative. Yeah. Housecoin feels like that right now, but like if we range till June, I kind of sit on the view that enough people hate it, and the meme is maybe like it's okay, but it's only okay if boomers pick up on it, and I don't know if they have yet. So that's what we really saw with Farokh, right? Like that's when I started buying Farokh back, and I was later than you again, Tyler, but like I started buying at 250 back then because suddenly it was on stock twits, and you're like, oh, okay, well this can be a thing.
Yeah.
The one other nice thing about this is it seems to be sort of like it is the new one, but it's also sort of like the meta leader right now, right? It spawned a bunch of beta coins, or at least I am perceiving them as beta coins. And that is typically like a little bit of signal that, hey, this is a winner, right? Which could help further propel things. It's tough to go too far down. You can get a 2 or 5x maybe out of a beta, but you typically just want to own the alpha coin from these little meta pockets. And I would say Housecoin is that at this point.
There's a question. Is this new token land? House beta. Disclosure, I am in this. I got in this one yesterday.
Has to be, doesn't it? I mean,
I knew you'd be in something else.
I've been hot, Mando. I was telling Sims before the show. I think I've gotten in like 8 new meme plays this week.
What was the other one you were mentioning?
5 or 6. I'll go through the list here in a second. I've hit immediate 2 to 3x's on several of them. So land closed an easy 3x free roll in the bag on that one. Neat. When I went solo on Monday's show, I gave the full pitch for Neat. I got in around 2.5 million on this one. I think this one's a strong one to watch.
Employment, education, or training.
Yeah, it's this whole idea that Zoomers, this new group of kids who are going to be graduating from college with AI taking over, they're going to be they're going to be NEETs. They're going to be not employed, not in education, not in training. And like, what the hell are they going to do?
I like this one too. I don't own any, but I've been pretty hands off while I've been here in Peru, which has really been bad in the last week, being in chats with Tyler. And happy for you, Tyler. You've been dominating, but it feels a little sad not participating as much.
This was a bad week to miss. I think everyone who flew to Dubai missed a big week as well. Hopefully there was more upside there for them. This one hit 10 million. It hasn't really had any pullbacks. So I think this is one where you got to wait. Like we usually have the 40 to 70% retraction that really tests the holder base. This one hasn't had it yet. So be careful. But a few others, man. I'll keep rattling through the list. What else are we going to talk about here in the last 5 minutes of the show? Did enter Troll. I'm not up on that one. I'm pretty much even. I think that's an interesting one. I don't have the confidence in that. But I get that it's an OG meme. It's the type of meme that could have some decent performance. Bongo, an old bonk guy meme, apparently has gone super viral on Steam. It has somewhat revived the meme, though it looks like it's chopping here. I wouldn't say this is an extremely high confidence play. And then I got in on the Pasternak token, Andy 8052. Helped kind of tip me off of this one. He's been pretty loud on the timeline about this. This is previously the founder of Clout. He has his own token on Clout that ran, and now he's rebranded it as a part of the Believe app and their Launchpad. This is the token now. It got updated on Vector before it got updated on Dex. So a lot of people didn't know that. And then this thing just went from 5 to 15 million in the last day. And even at 15 million, like if you think the token Launchpad is going to have some success, I think they did $100 million in volume in the first day, I think Ben said. Perhaps some more upside on that one. So that's my book. Well, I'll continue to walk our listeners through the book here on a daily basis. I'm sure you all are chomping at the bit to know what I'm getting into. But in summary, the memes have been hot. I am curious, like how sitting 100 million is at a local top sign. I think a lot depends on what Bitcoin's going to do from here. Are we going to come back after just a quick dip? Or are we going to start kind of grinding back down to like 88? If Bitcoin goes down to 88, it probably cools things off. That's my gut read. All right. I think we're out of time. We got to get to the Yeet. The Yeet action, the code today is house. If you haven't entered yet, last chance here to commemorate house coin hitting 100 million. That is the code for today. Sims, if you're ready, let's get into it. Here comes the spin. All right. Who we got?
Oh,
Sam Phased.
Sam
Phased. You are the winner. Come
we don't
on
get the
up
music
here.
anymore.
No, I can only have one screen. I thought we could do the actual games with the music on because they're on different browsers.
Right.
Just as a note to everyone as well, like we went through, if you haven't put a $1 bet on your account, a minimum of a $1 bet, you won't be included. I had to remove 280 people today because they're all zero on account. That's 280 people removed from this. You should be putting some money on your account and going and making a bet on Yeet.
Those are the rules.
Yeah, we can't have bots, right? So.
All right, Sam, up there he is. Sam Phased. We have him up here. Get him up on stage. He's still connecting here. Let's give him a second.
What game we doing though?
What do you
That's the
think?
question.
We've had the most like coin race is fun, but like it's more risky, right?
It's your course, your website. What do you wanna showcase?
Should we do risky click today? That was a bit fun.
We have the music.
Let's do it. All right, Sam, are you with us? GM, you won.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Awesome.
Can we go all in this time?
All
I want
in.
to go all in with $1,000. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mando?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
All
You're-
right.
Okay, so
All right.
1,000, the whole bag.
Yeah. Can we do something different this time? Can we go on coin flip? I've been playing a while on coin flip now.
We can. I think let's just do this game though, no, right? We can do coin flip. I think we kind of want to. It's like I guess it's a less fun game, but.
Yeah, it's fine with me if you want to go with any other game.
Let's stick with risky click. It's easy for us to control from this side.
All right. Sam, I
Okay.
love your risk on here today. $1,000 risky click. All right. So the way we play it, you'll give us a number 1 through 9. So 1 is 1.2, 2 is 1.3.
Would you like to have one round of 1,000? Do you want to have 2 500 rounds?
2 500 rounds.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So whenever you're ready, and the higher your number, the riskier it is. Hopefully, you know the odds. Give us a number between 1 and 9.
4 for the first round.
All right.
1,
4.
2, 3, 4,
Well,
66. Ready?
yeah, let's do this.
Ooh. Done.
All right. So you're up
wanna-
to 750. You can choose
You
to
want a single
continue.
twist?
No, I'll cash out. Let's do another 500 one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Well
so
done.
Get down to 750.
let's move.
And the next one again we'll go with 4.
Oh man.
Quite a green board, actually.
Yeah, that was a nice board.
Yeah.
All right. He says he's gonna do 4 again.
Right. 500 then.
What do we think here? All right, let's do it. That seems pretty
Wait, hang on a
harmless.
minute. Yep. 500's in. 4.
Ooh,
Yeah, that was 4.
Let's go.
All right, you're up to 750, so you can choose to keep playing or you can cash out.
No, I'll cash out.
All right.
Okay,
1,500
nice.
win.
Hey, walking away at
Done.
1,500. One of the nicer wins that we've
1,500.
seen.
Easy game.
Respect your playing style. Sam, I respect your style
Thank you
quite
so
a
much.
bit.
Yeah.
Nice
Thank
little
you
win
so much.
for listening to the show.
Really
today.
appreciate this. I love you.
All right. Well,
Love it, man.
we love you as well. Love all of our listeners, folks. That's going to be it. That's our show. We will be back tomorrow for another episode of FOMO Hour at 10 a.m. Eastern. Till then, go make it a great day. Goodbye.